Hello. Look at yourself. Not in a mirror, but inwardly. There is a war happening inside you. A silent, civil war between the person you settled for and the person you know you were meant to be. You've tried to negotiate a peace. You've tried positive thinking. You've tried half measures. And you have failed. The conflict remains. The dissatisfaction grows. Today, we end the peace talks. We are going to talk about victory. Not a gentle improvement, but total, absolute victory over your weaker self. We are going to talk about winning this war using a philosophy that has been misunderstood, feared, and misused for centuries. We are going to talk about fixing yourself the Machiavellian way. Now, when you hear that word, Machiavellian, your mind conjures images of shadowy manipulators, of betrayal, of cold-hearted princes sacrificing others for a crown. This is a child's understanding of power. True Machiavellian genius is not about the brutal domination of others. That is a petty, fragile, and ultimately self-defeating game. The ultimate Machiavellian game, the grandest strategic canvas, is the conquest and masterful governance of the self. I want you to undertake a profound mental shift. See your entire being as a principality. Your mind is your royal court, a chamber of echoing voices, the shrewd advisor of logic, the passionate ambassador of emotion, the timid courtier of fear. Your body is your army, its strength, its health, its endurance, the very foundation of your power. Your time, your energy, your focus, this is your treasury, your national wealth. And your laziness, your procrastination, your addiction to comfort, your need for approval, your fear of failure, these are not mere habits. They are the traitors. They are the rebels sowing discord in your provinces. They are the incompetent generals losing your battles. They are the invaders at your gate, threatening to burn your kingdom to the ground. This video is not a self-help seminar. It is your war council. I am here to give you the battle plans. I want you to understand this Machiavellian approach because the world you live in is not a school, it is a battlefield. It does not give you points for good intentions. It does not care about your struggles. The world, in its relentless, impersonal machinery, rewards only one thing: undeniable power. Power manifested as competence, as results, as an unshakable will, and as the strategic cunning to navigate reality as it is, not as you wish it to be. By applying these Machiavellian rules to yourself, you are not becoming a villain. You are becoming a sovereign. You are ceasing to be a peasant in your own life, begging for scraps of happiness. You are building a throne, and you are sitting upon it. You are moving from being a piece on the board to being the player. Let us begin. Rule 1. You are your own most important principality. This is the first and last law. Everything you will ever achieve or fail to achieve rests upon the bedrock of this single, non-negotiable truth. Your body, your mind, your skills, your time, your energy, this is not just you. This is your kingdom. This is the sovereign territory over which you have been given absolute, if challenging, dominion. Your primary duty, your sacred charge, is to its strength, its security, its prosperity, and its expansion. Every single choice you make, from the food you put in your mouth to the information you put in your brain, from the hours you waste to the skills you cultivate, must be subjected to a ruthless cost-benefit analysis. Does this act strengthen my kingdom, or does it weaken it? Does scrolling through social media fortify your walls? Does skipping a workout to sleep and bolster your army's morale? Does engaging in gossip and drama with strangers secure your borders? If the answer is no, you are not merely making a mistake. You are committing an act of high treason against your own throne. You are the king, and you are poisoning your own well. Your loyalty must be, first and foremost, to the integrity of your own domain. A weak and bankrupt ruler has nothing to offer anyone else, not love, not support, not value. A strong, secure, and prosperous ruler becomes a pillar that others can lean on, a force that commands respect, and a power that shapes their own destiny. Rule 2. Eradicate the word fair from your vocabulary. Let me carve this into your mind, The concept of fair is a fairy tale for children and a crutch for the weak. The universe is cosmically indifferent. The genetic lottery is a random draw. The economic system is a complex game with rigged rules and uneven starting lines. People will lie, cheat, and succeed through means you find reprehensible. To navigate this world while clutching the doll of fairness is to walk into a sword fight with a teddy bear. Complaining that a situation isn't fair is the most revealing confession of powerlessness you can utter. It is a plea to a parental figure who does not exist. The Machiavellian mind does not concern itself with fairness. It is ruthlessly, coldly realistic. It surveys the landscape of life exactly as it is, a brutal, beautiful, competitive, and often unjust arena, and it asks the only question that has ever mattered in the history of strategy: given these conditions, this terrain, and these opponents, what is the most effective path to victory? Stop crying over the hand you were dealt. A master gambler does not whine about his cards, he studies his opponents, calculates the odds, and bluffs with a stone face. Your energy, your focus, your very life force, is too precious to waste on lamenting the rules of the game. Your only job is to learn them, master them, and win. Rule 3. Your time is your throne. Understand this: you are seated upon the throne of time, and from this seat, you issue the decrees that shape your reality. Every minute you willingly surrender to mindlessness is a minute you have abdicated your rule. Think about it with this brutal clarity: the hour you lost to scrolling, the evening you sacrificed to a television show you didn't even enjoy, the afternoon you spent listening to the problems of people who have no intention of solving them, these are not harmless breaks. They are acts of sedition. You are allowing court jesters, traveling minstrels, and carnival barkers to entertain you while the infrastructure of your kingdom crumbles, your army grows soft, and your treasury is depleted. You must guard your time with the fierce, uncompromising jealousy of a dragon guarding its hoard. It is the one resource that is truly non-renewable, the currency with which you purchase your legacy. Every second spent is a coin spent forever. You must invest it, not spend it. You must use it to build, to train, to learn, to strengthen. Do not fritter it away on distractions designed to pacify the populace. A ruler who is careless with his time is a ruler on the verge of being overthrown by the relentless march of his own mortality. 4. See yourself as you are, not as you wish to be. This is the most difficult and most vital piece of intelligence you will ever acquire. You must become your own most ruthless spy. You must conduct a deep, penetrating, and utterly honest audit of your entire being. You must look into the mirror and acknowledge the softness in your stomach, the hesitation in your eyes, the weakness in your posture. You must gaze inward and catalog your flaws with the cold precision of a general assessing the enemy's fortifications. Are you intellectually lazy? Do you crumble under criticism? Are you a coward in the face of necessary conflict? Are your social skills lacking? Are you clinging to a dead-end job out of fear? Are you emotionally manipulative? This exercise is not an invitation to self-hatred, that is just another form of self-obsession. This is strategic reconnaissance. Self-deception is the unguarded postern gate in your castle walls. It is the secret passage through which your enemies, your competitors, your circumstances, your own future failures, will stream through to plunder everything you have built. You cannot defend a weakness you are too proud to name. You cannot deploy a strength you are too blind to recognize. Know thyself. Not the curated, filtered, social media avatar, but the raw, unvarnished, strategic asset that you truly are. Your potential is built upon the foundation of your reality. You must know that foundation, every crack and every solid stone, before you can build anything of lasting value upon it. 5. Become a master of dissimulation. Let me be clear, this is not a command to become a deceitful person in the world. This is a command to master the art of the internal and external mask for strategic advantage. You are under no obligation to reveal your full hand to the world. Your plans, your insecurities, your moments of despair, your true level of power, these are state secrets. Revealing them indiscriminately is a catastrophic strategic error. Learn to wear the face that the situation demands. Are you terrified before a crucial presentation? Wear the mask of calm authority. Are you feeling like an imposter in a room of experts? Wear the mask of quiet competence. Are you planning a bold career move? Wear the mask of the content and loyal employee until the very moment you are ready to make your move. A serene exterior can conceal a mind in turmoil, giving you the time and space to regain control. A facade of confidence can deter challenges while you build genuine competence. Your inner world is your war room. The maps, the battle plans, the discussions of tactics and logistics, these are for you and your most trusted counsel alone. Let the outside world see only the finished fortress, not the scaffolding and the anxious architects. 6. Your emotions are ambassadors, not rulers. You must reconceive your emotional landscape. Your fear, your anger, your joy, your sadness, your anxiety, these are not your masters. They are not kings to be obeyed. They are ambassadors. They are messengers sent from the far-flung provinces of your psyche to deliver urgent dispatches to the capital, which is your conscious, rational mind. Fear is an ambassador from the borderlands, arriving breathless to report, "Sire, there is a potential threat on the horizon. We must be cautious." Anger is an ambassador from the Hall of Justice, storming in to declare, "Your Majesty, a boundary has been violated. An injustice has been committed." You must listen to these ambassadors. Grant them an audience. Hear their reports with respect, for they bring you vital information about your kingdom. Thank them for their service. But you, the sovereign, hold the absolute power of veto. You do not let the ambassador of fear cancel your trade expedition. You do not let the ambassador of anger declare war on a neighboring kingdom in a fit of pique. You hear their counsel, you weigh it against your long-term strategy, and you make a calm, calculated decision. The ambassadors are valuable advisors, but you are the final authority. Never surrender your crown to a temporary messenger. 7. Starve your distractions, feed your focus. Conduct an inventory of your life and identify every single thing that consumes your time and mental energy without providing a tangible return on your investment. Social media, video games, gossip websites, endless news cycles, toxic friends, YouTube rabbit holes, binge watching, these are not leisure activities. They are parasites. They are the leeches attached to the underbelly of your kingdom, sucking your vitality, draining your treasury of focus, and leaving you anemic and weak. You must be merciless in their eradication. This is not a suggestion for digital wellness, this is a strategic purge. Delete the apps. Block the websites. Set unbreakable time limits. Cut off the people who are emotional vampires. These distractions are the court jesters of the digital age, they amuse you for a moment while systematically picking your pockets. Every second of attention you give them is a second you have stolen from your true priorities, your health, your skills, your relationships, your mission. A kingdom that feeds its parasites will soon find it has no food left for its army, and a kingdom with a starving army is a kingdom that has already fallen, it just doesn't know it yet. 8. Fortify your mind against external opinion. Praise and criticism are two sides of the same counterfeit coin, the currency of external validation. If your sense of self-worth is dependent on this currency, you are perpetually bankrupt, forever at the mercy of the whims of the mint. The applause of the crowd is as reliable as the wind, it will fill your sails one day and dash your ship against the rocks the next. If you build your identity upon their praise, their inevitable criticism will shatter you. Your self-worth cannot be a house of cards built by the hands of others. It must be an internal citadel, a fortress constructed on the unshakable bedrock of your own core principles, your own proven competence, and your own unwavering self-respect. Let the opinions of others be like weather outside your walls. You can hear the rain and the thunder, you can feel the wind, but inside your citadel, you are dry, you are safe, and you are planning your next move. The only evaluation of your reign that ultimately matters is the one you conduct in the silent chambers of your own conscience. 9. Cultivate calculated detachment. This is the hallmark of the strategic mind, the quality that separates the player from the pawn. You must learn to make decisions based on long-term strategic outcomes, not short-term emotional gratification or discomfort. Did you experience a humiliating failure? Good. Detach from the shame. Analyze the event as a dispassionate military historian would analyze a lost battle. What were the tactical errors? What intelligence was missing? What can be learned? File the report and adjust your strategy. Are you facing a painful but necessary task, a difficult conversation, a grueling workout, a complex project? Detach from the feeling of dread. See it not as an emotional trial, but as a strategic objective on the map of your campaign. This conversation is necessary to secure a vital alliance. This workout is required to increase the stamina of my troops. This project is the key to capturing that hill. By surgically removing the emotional component, you strip the obstacle of its power to intimidate and paralyze you. You become a general moving pieces on a board, focused solely on the outcome of the war, not the fleeting discomfort of the individual battles. 10. Your mind is a garden. Weed relentlessly. The soil of your mind is the most fertile and valuable land in your entire kingdom. It is where your ideas, your creativity, and your peace are grown. You cannot allow invasive, parasitic thoughts to take root and choke out your potential. Negative, self-defeating narratives like, "I'm not good enough, it's too late for me," or "I don't have what it takes," are vicious weeds. Sentimental attachments to past failures and grudges are deep-rooted thorns. Limiting beliefs planted in your childhood by well-meaning or careless people are stubborn, perennial infestations. You must become a vigilant and ruthless gardener. The very moment you notice the sprout of a negative thought, you must uproot it immediately. You do not water it with attention. You do not let it flower into a full-blown narrative of despair. You challenge it. You dispute its validity. You replace it with a cultivated, productive, and true thought. A well-tended mental garden produces an abundant harvest of clarity, innovation, and inner peace. A neglected mind becomes an overgrown, impenetrable jungle of anxiety and chaos, where no clear path forward can ever be found. 11. Preempt your problems. A problem anticipated is a skirmish. A problem ignored is a siege. The weak ruler reacts. The strong ruler anticipates. You must become a grandmaster of your own life, thinking 5 moves ahead. That minor financial leak. That slight decline in your physical fitness. That fracturing relationship. That skill that is becoming obsolete. These are not mere annoyances. They are enemy scouts on the horizon. If you ignore them, you are allowing them to return to their main army and report your weakness. Soon, you will face a full-scale siege, a financial crisis, a health disaster, a bitter breakup, a sudden layoff. The Machiavellian mind is perpetually scanning the horizon. It asks, what potential threats are gathering? What opportunities are emerging? It then acts with decisive speed to neutralize the threat or seize the opportunity while the cost is low. Deal with a problem when it is a single, manageable skirmish on the outskirts of your kingdom. Do not wait for it to become a full-blown siege at your gates, where the cost of victory is catastrophic. 12. Offense is the best defense. Announce your presence with action. Do not wait to be chosen, promoted, discovered, or invited. The world is a noisy, crowded arena, and those who wait patiently in the corner are overlooked. You must seize the opportunities you want. You must create your own platforms. The Machiavellian ruler understands that audacity is a weapon. It creates a perception of power that often becomes reality. Want a better job? Do not just send out resumes. Create a project that demonstrates your value and send it directly to the CEO. Want to be a leader? Do not wait for a title. Start leading the conversation, solving the difficult problems, and organizing the chaos. You announce your presence not by shouting, "I am here," but by acting with such decisive competence that your presence becomes an undeniable fact. The best way to defend your position of obscurity is to leave it behind by attacking the front lines of your ambition. 13. Strike fast, strike decisively. Hesitation is the mother of failure. Once your reconnaissance is complete, once your strategy is set, and the opportunity presents itself, you must act with overwhelming force and speed. Paralysis by analysis is the death of kings. The perfect moment never arrives. There will always be more data you could gather, one more variable to consider. This is the trap of the intellectual coward. The Machiavellian prince knows that a good plan executed with violent commitment today is better than a perfect plan executed next week. When you move, move like a thunderclap. Do not dribble out your effort. Commit fully. This decisive energy is terrifying to competitors and intoxicating to allies. It cuts through bureaucracy, shatters obstacles, and creates momentum that carries you through unforeseen challenges. Hesitation, on the other hand, gives your enemies, your doubts, your competitors, your circumstances, time to fortify, to conspire, to block your path. The window of opportunity is small. You must be the one to kick the door down. 14. Never let a crisis go to waste. Dissect every failure for its intelligence. You will fail. You will be humiliated. You will be betrayed. This is not a possibility, it is a certainty on the path to power. The weak man hides from his failures, buries them in shame, and pretends they never happened. This is how you guarantee you will repeat them. The Machiavellian ruler sees every failure, every crisis, every betrayal as a priceless gift of intelligence. It is a live-fire exercise that reveals the true strength of your walls, the loyalty of your allies, and the location of your fatal weaknesses. When you fall, you do not weep. You take out your scalpel. You perform an autopsy on the event. Why did this happen? What assumption was wrong? What skill was lacking? What person proved unreliable? You extract the lesson, no matter how painful, and you integrate it into your strategy. Then, you use the burning energy of the setback to fuel an even more powerful comeback. A crisis is a terrible thing to waste. It is the most effective teacher you will ever have. 15. Create a council of the dead. Let history's greatest minds be your unseen advisors. You are not the first person to face these challenges. The specifics are new, but the fundamental problems of power, strategy, human nature, and adversity are ancient. To rely solely on your own limited experience is arrogant and foolish. You must build a council of advisors, but not from the living, who have their own agendas. Your council must be composed of the dead. Read Sun Tzu for strategy. Read Seneca for resilience. Read Machiavelli for realpolitik. Read Marcus Aurelius for duty. Read Carnegie for influence. Study the lives of great entrepreneurs, artists, and warriors. When faced with a difficult decision, do not just spin in your own anxiety. Ask yourself, what would Julius Caesar do in this situation? How would Catherine the Great handle this betrayal? What would Steve Jobs see that I am missing? By standing on the shoulders of these giants, you gain a perspective that transcends your moment in time. Your council of the dead provides you with a wisdom that is timeless and untainted by the petty biases of the present. 16. Practice strategic disappearance. Let people wonder, not yawn. Familiarity breeds contempt. Overexposure breeds predictability. If you are always available, always talking, always posting, you become background noise. You lose your power and mystique. The Machiavellian ruler understands the power of absence. Periodically, you must withdraw from the noise. Turn off the notifications. Refuse the pointless social gatherings. Work in silence. Focus on a major project without broadcasting your progress. This serves two powerful purposes. First, it gives you the uninterrupted focus to level up, to emerge stronger and more capable. Second, it creates a vacuum of your presence. People will begin to wonder what you are working on. Your re-entry will be noticed, not ignored. Your words will carry more weight because you are not constantly chattering. By controlling your presence, you control your perception. Be a sudden and impactful storm, not a constant, drizzling rain. 17. Keep your friends close, and your vices closer. Know your addictions intimately. This is the ultimate application of know thy enemy. Your greatest enemy is not your competitor, it is the traitor within your own psyche. Your laziness, your greed, your pride, your addiction to comfort, your craving for validation. You cannot defeat an enemy you do not understand. Do not pretend your vices do not exist. That is a guaranteed path to being ambushed by them. Instead, study them with the cold curiosity of a scientist. Under what conditions does your laziness emerge? What triggers your insecurity? What situations make you vulnerable to temptation? Map their patterns. Understand their strength. By knowing your vices intimately, you can predict their attacks, you can avoid the terrain where they are strongest, and you can set up defenses against them. Your vice is a captured rebel general. Keep him in a cell where you can watch him, interrogate him, and learn from him. Do not let him roam free in the countryside, gathering support for his rebellion. 18. It is better to be feared than loved by your own laziness. This is the most famous and misunderstood Machiavellian maxim. Applied to others, it can create resentment. Applied to yourself, it creates excellence. Your undisciplined, weaker self must live in absolute terror of your disciplined, stronger self. When the alarm clock rings, your lazy self must fear the consequence of you hitting snooze. When it's time to work, your procrastinating self must dread the feeling of your own contempt if you open a social media tab. You must be the ruthless prince of your own bad habits. The love of comfort is fickle, it will abandon you when hard times come. But the fear of your own self-disgust, the fear of betraying your own potential, the fear of being weak, this is a powerful and constant motivator. Be so disciplined that your weaker self is too afraid to even suggest taking the easy way out. 19. Distinguish between allies, assets, and enemies. Sentimentality in relationships is a strategic poison. You must categorize the people in your life with cold, clinical precision. An ally shares your fundamental mission and values. You build deep, lasting bonds with allies. An asset is useful for a specific task or a period of time. You collaborate with them, exchange value, and maintain a respectful, but not necessarily deep, relationship. An enemy is anyone, actively or passively, working against your core mission. Most people are assets. Do not confuse them. Do not pour the emotional energy reserved for an ally into an asset, and do not mistake a temporary asset for a lifelong ally. This is not about being cruel, it is about being efficient and protecting your kingdom's resources. Misallocating your trust and energy is like sending your best diplomats to negotiate with a merchant, and your accountants to treat with a foreign king. 20. Be a fox to discover the snares, and a lion to frighten the wolves. You must possess a dual nature. You must be the fox, cunning, observant, and shrewd. This is the part of you that sniffs out deception, that sees the hidden traps in a contract, that understands the unspoken motivations of others. It is your intelligence network. But the fox cannot defend itself against the wolves. For that, you must also be the lion, bold, fierce, and commanding. This is the part of you that projects strength, that sets unwavering boundaries, that confronts disrespect directly, and that carries yourself with an aura of unshakable confidence. Use your inner fox to navigate the complex social and professional landscapes, to see the snares before you step in them. Use your inner lion to project such strength that most wolves will not dare to challenge you in the first place. Cunning without strength is impotent. Strength without cunning is blind. You must be both. 21. The ends justify the means, when the end is your own sovereignty. This is the most controversial and most profound of Machiavellian ideas, and it has been grotesquely misinterpreted. We are not talking about the ends of wealth or fame justifying any means. We are talking about the ultimate end, your self-mastery, your sovereignty, your liberation from your own weakness. In this context, the means are not evil acts against others. The means are the brutally difficult, unglamorous, and often painful daily disciplines. The means is the swallowed pride when you choose to learn instead of pretending to know. The means is the searing discomfort of a cold shower and a hard workout. The means is the lonely hour of study when others are sleeping or partying. The means is the terrifying act of setting a boundary with someone you love. If the end is a life of unshakable self-command, of profound capability, and of hard-won freedom, then yes, these difficult, painful, demanding means are not just justified, they are sacred. The pain of discipline is the price you pay for the crown of self-respect. 22. Adapt or be erased. The terrain shifts, and your strategy must shift with it. The world is not static. The market changes. Technology evolves. Social norms shift. The skills that made you valuable yesterday are the commodities of today and the relics of tomorrow. To cling to a single strategy in a changing world is like a king insisting on using cavalry against machine guns. It is a path to a picturesque and utterly pointless death. The Machiavellian ruler holds their core principles tightly, their discipline, their honesty with self, their commitment to growth, but they hold their methods loosely. You must be fluid, like water. You must be able to pivot, to learn a new skill, to abandon a sinking industry, to reinvent your personal brand. Your identity must not be, I am a job title. Your identity must be, I am a formidable and adaptable problem solver. The oak tree snaps in the hurricane, the reed bends and survives. Your strength is not in your rigidity, but in your resilient flexibility. 23. Build a moat around your value. Make yourself indispensable not to a person, but to the world. Loyalty to a company is a fairy tale. Security in a single job is an illusion. Your only true security is the value you can create. But you cannot just be valuable, you must be uniquely and defensibly valuable. You must build a moat around your skills. This moat is built through rare and valuable skill combinations. It is not enough to be a good writer. Be a writer who understands complex data science. It is not enough to be a decent coder. Be a coder with a profound grasp of human psychology. Combine skills in a way that is difficult to replicate. Become the only person who can do what you do in the specific way you do it. This moat makes you indispensable not to a single boss, who may be fickle, but to the entire market. When you are a king with a strong castle and a deep moat, you do not beg for entry into other kingdoms, they seek alliances with you. 24. Fortuna favors the bold, not the reckless. Lady Fortune, Machiavelli said, is a woman, and she prefers young men who are bold enough to seize her. But there is a vast, fatal chasm between boldness and recklessness. Boldness is action that follows careful calculation. It is the general who attacks after studying the enemy's disposition, the strength of his own troops, and the lay of the land. Recklessness is action instead of calculation. It is charging in blind, fueled by emotion and hope. The Machiavellian is not a gambler, they are a calculated risk-taker. They stack the odds in their favor as much as humanly possible, and then they act with the boldness of a hurricane. They understand that no plan is perfect, but they have a plan. They have a map, even if it is incomplete. Do not mistake foolishness for courage. Fortune favors the prepared bold. 25. Never rest on your laurels. Victory is the most dangerous poison. The moment you believe you have made it, you have begun your irreversible decline. Complacency is the silent assassin that strangles kings in their sleep. When you achieve a goal, the promotion, the financial target, the physical transformation, you are at your most vulnerable. The pressure is off. The hunger is sated. This is when your discipline slackens, when your vigilance fades, when the traitors of comfort and laziness creep back into your court. You must see every victory not as a destination, but as a new base of operations from which to launch your next campaign. The Machiavellian ruler celebrates a victory for a single evening, and the next morning, they are in the war room, asking, "What's next?" The game never ends. The moment you stop playing is the moment you lose. 26. Think in decades, not days. Every action is a brick in the cathedral of your life. The weak are ruled by the immediate. They seek the dopamine hit of a like, the comfort of a lazy Sunday, the avoidance of a difficult task. Their lives are a series of disconnected, reactive moments. The Machiavellian ruler, however, is an architect of time. They are building a cathedral that will take decades to complete. With every action, they ask, is this a brick that strengthens my cathedral, or is it rubble that weakens its foundation? Reading a book is a brick. Wasting an evening is rubble. A hard workout is a brick. A toxic argument is rubble. Investing money is a brick. An impulsive purchase is rubble. When you think in decades, the trivial temptations of the day lose their power over you. You are willing to lay 1,000 bricks, day after day, in the pouring rain, because you can see the spire of your cathedral reaching for the sky in your mind's eye. 27. Sacrifice the pawn to save the king. Sentimentality has no place in strategy. You must be willing to make brutal cuts for the health of the whole kingdom. That comfortable, dead-end job is a pawn. It must be sacrificed for the king, your true calling. That toxic friendship that drains your energy is a pawn. It must be sacrificed for the king, your mental peace. That pleasurable but destructive habit is a pawn. It must be sacrificed for the king, your long-term health. This is not about being cruel to others, it is about being ruthlessly loyal to your mission. Sentimentality, clinging to things, people, or situations that are harming your kingdom out of a sense of false loyalty or comfort, is a fatal strategic flaw. A great ruler knows that to save the kingdom, sometimes you must burn a village. To save your future self, you must sometimes burn a part of your present comfort. 28. Your health is your army's morale. A sick, weak body will mutiny against the most brilliant mind. You can have the most brilliant campaign plan ever devised, but if your army is sick, starving, and mutinous, you will lose every battle. Your body is your army. Your mind is the general. If you feed your body garbage, if you deprive it of sleep, if you let it grow soft and weak, it will eventually mutiny. It will manifest as chronic fatigue, illness, brain fog, and depression. Your brilliant mind will be trapped inside a vessel that is actively sabotaging it. You cannot command a mutinous army. Therefore, the supreme strategic priority is the morale and fitness of your troops. Sleep is not laziness, it is logistical support. Nutrition is not a chore, it is supplying your front lines. Exercise is not optional, it is daily training and maintenance of your most vital equipment. Neglect your army's morale, and your kingdom will fall from within. 29. Dispense rewards and punishments yourself. The reward for discipline is a better life. Do not outsource your motivation to the external world. Do not wait for your boss to give you a bonus to feel successful. Do not wait for a compliment to feel attractive. You are the sole source of validation and consequence in your kingdom. You must create a system where discipline is instantly rewarded and laziness is instantly punished. Did you finish that difficult task? Reward yourself with a clear conscience and the privilege of genuine, unanxious rest. Did you skip your workout? Punish yourself with the searing self-contempt of knowing you are weaker than you were yesterday. Make the connection between action and consequence immediate and visceral. The ultimate reward for your discipline is not a trophy, it is a life of power, options, and self-respect. The ultimate punishment for your laziness is not poverty, it is a life of regret, weakness, and quiet desperation. You must be the judge and the jury of your own actions. 30. Bind allies to you through benefit, not just words. Loyalty built on mere words, charisma, or past favors is fragile. The strongest bonds are bonds of mutual self-interest. To have truly powerful allies, you must make it in their best interest to see you succeed. How do you do this? By creating value for them. By making them more successful, smarter, wealthier, or stronger through their association with you. When your success directly contributes to their success, their loyalty becomes unshakable because it is rooted in their own strategy. This is not manipulation, it is the foundation of all lasting partnerships, from business to marriage. Be a source of such immense value that your allies would be foolish to betray you, not because they are morally pure, but because it would be strategically stupid. Your network is your net worth, and it is built by being a giver of value, not a taker of favors. 31. You are alone in this. No one is coming to save you. Let the weight of this sentence settle upon you. It is not a pessimistic observation, it is the foundational bedrock of all adult power. There is no cavalry waiting over the hill. No mythical mentor will appear to hand you a secret map to your destiny. No government program, no perfect romantic partner, no sudden inheritance, no divine intervention will descend from the heavens to pluck you from the consequences of your own actions or the random cruelties of fate. To live with the subconscious hope of a rescue is to live as a child, and the world devours children. The moment you truly, viscerally internalize that you are the final line of defense, the supreme commander of your forces, the chief architect of your fortress, and the only person who can truly, fundamentally alter the trajectory of your life, a profound and terrifying alchemy occurs. All the energy you once wasted, the energy spent waiting for the right moment, hoping for a lucky break, blaming outside forces, and complaining about unfairness, this energy suddenly evaporates from the external world and condenses within you. It becomes a dense, potent fuel for your own engine. This realization is the ultimate declaration of independence. The responsibility is immense, yes. It is the weight of a crown. But it is your crown. You are alone on the throne of your own existence, and that isolation is not your prison, it is your sovereignty. 32. Suffering is not optional. But misery is a choice. You must understand the fundamental texture of reality. Pain, struggle, failure, loss, and hardship are not bugs in the system, they are features. They are the universal taxes levied by existence itself. Every human being, from the peasant to the emperor, pays them. There are no exemptions. But the Machiavellian mind makes a critical, life-altering distinction between two states of being, suffering and misery. Suffering is the objective, factual event. It is the business that fails. It is the bone that breaks. It is the betrayal by a trusted ally. It is the rejection letter. It is the diagnosis. This is the raw data of pain. Misery, however, is a separate creation. It is the entirely optional, self-constructed, and often self-indulgent narrative you choose to wrap around the suffering. It is the story of, why does this always happen to me? It is the identity of the eternal victim. It is the weeks spent wallowing in self-pity, the months spent in bitter resentment, the years spent telling and retelling the story of your wounding. The sovereign and the victim experience the same objective suffering. But the sovereign, like a skilled general, accepts the factual reality of the casualty report. They acknowledge the pain, pay the tax, and immediately, coldly, get to work on the damage assessment and the plan for recovery. They ask, what does this pain demand that I become? What strength must I now cultivate? What weakness has this event revealed? They use the suffering as a refining fire to temper their steel. The victim, however, chooses misery. They roll in the mud of their own misfortune, and in doing so, they amplify a single moment of pain into a lifetime of defeat. Your power lies not in avoiding suffering, which is impossible, but in ruthlessly rejecting the seductive, weak-minded path of misery. 33. Become a merchant of value. The world trades value for value. Strip away all the sentimentality, all the social veneer, and you will see the fundamental engine of human interaction. It is a marketplace. Not a marketplace of money, but a marketplace of value. The world does not care about what you want, what you feel you deserve, or your good intentions. The world only responds to the value you create and offer. Stop asking the childish question, what can I get? This is the question of a beggar standing outside the city gates, hand outstretched. The Machiavellian ruler asks the powerful question, what can I become capable of giving? This is the question of the merchant king who owns the marketplace. Your focus must shift from being a consumer of opportunity to a producer of solutions. Want more money? Create more economic value for others. Want respect? Become a person of such formidable competence and integrity that respect is the inevitable tax others pay to be in your presence. Want better relationships? Become a source of emotional strength, intellectual stimulation, and unwavering loyalty. The world is a mirror. It will reflect back at you the exact value you project out into it. If you feel underpaid, undervalued, and overlooked, the brutal truth is that you are likely offering something the market perceives as common, cheap, or easily replaceable. The solution is not to complain about the market. The solution is to radically increase the rarity, quality, and impact of the value you offer. Become a merchant of such undeniable value that the world clamors to trade with you. 34. Your past is a text, not a chain. Every person carries a history. Yours is filled with triumphs, shames, joys, and traumas. The weak man allows his past to become a chain. He drags it behind him, a heavy, clanking weight of regret and old identity that slows his every step. He says, "I am like this because of what happened to me." He uses his past as an excuse for his present mediocrity. The Machiavellian sovereign, however, treats their past as a text. It is a book, written in the ink of experience, to be studied with detached curiosity. They open this book not to wallow in its emotional chapters, but to mine it for tactical intelligence. That failure in your 20s. It is not a permanent stain on your soul, it is a chapter on the dangers of poor planning. That heartbreak. It is not an eternal wound, it is a treatise on understanding human nature and the importance of boundaries. You read the text, you extract the lesson, you close the book, and you place it back on the shelf. You do not drag the entire library with you on your campaign. The past is a school, not a life sentence. You are not its prisoner, you are its graduate. Take the diploma of hard-won wisdom and move forward, unburdened. 35. The prince must enforce the law. You are the only enforcer. You can know all 34 of the previous rules. You can have them memorized, written on your wall, and tattooed on your skin. But without this final, meta rule, they are worthless. They are just philosophical poetry. Knowledge without execution is self-delusion. You are the sovereign, and you are also the chief of police, the judge, and the executioner in your own kingdom. You must enforce the laws you have set for yourself. When you decree that you will wake up at 5 a.m., and your weaker self hits the snooze button, you must enforce the law. The punishment is immediate self-contempt and a corrective action. When you decree a strict diet, and you are tempted by junk food, you must enforce the law. There is Northwest Appeals Court. There is no higher authority to which you can pass the buck. This is the essence of self-mastery, the unwavering will to be the enforcer of your own code. A kingdom with beautiful, perfectly written laws that are never enforced is a kingdom in a state of anarchy and decay. Your mind, your body, your life, they will only respect a ruler who has the courage to govern. The final, brutal truth is that the quality of your life is a direct reflection of the quality of your self-enforcement. 36. Master the art of the graceful exit. Control the narrative. Power is not only demonstrated in how you enter a room, but in how you leave it. The weak overstay their welcome. They linger in dying conversations, dead-end jobs, and decaying relationships until they are asked to leave, fired, or broken up with. In doing so, they surrender all narrative control. They become the person who was left, the one who was let go. The Machiavellian ruler understands that strategic withdrawal is a show of strength. You leave the party while the energy is still high, making people wonder where you've gone. You exit the business deal when the terms cease to serve your kingdom, framing it as a strategic pivot. You end the relationship when it no longer aligns with your mission, doing so with clarity and resolve, making it an act of your will, not a reaction to their failure. A graceful exit allows you to control the story. It leaves you with your power intact, your mystique enhanced, and your options open. Never let people yawn at your departure. Make them wonder at it. 37. Let your deeds speak for themselves. A reputation built by others is more potent. The need to boast, to constantly announce your achievements, is the telltale sign of deep-seated insecurity. It is the behavior of a newly rich merchant trying to buy the respect of old aristocracy. It never works, and it only reveals his inferiority complex. True power is quiet. The Machiavellian ruler understands that a reputation that is built by the words of others is infinitely more powerful than one built by your own. When you accomplish something, do not be the town crier. Let your work be so undeniably excellent, your results so overwhelmingly effective, that other people become your evangelists. When someone else says, he is a genius, it is accepted as fact. When you say it, it is seen as arrogance. Do your work with relentless excellence. Move in silence. Let the world discover your competence, and let the whispers of your capability spread through the court on their own. Your influence will be far greater when you are not the one straining to create it. 38. Never let your shoulds be dictated by others. Society, your family, your peers, advertising, they are all a chorus of voices telling you what you should do. You should get a safe job. You should get married by a certain age. You should buy a house. You should want certain things. These external shoulds are the chains that bind the common man to a life of quiet desperation. The Machiavellian sovereign does not live by should. They live by must and will. Your moral code, your life goals, your definition of success, these must be your own design, tailored for your unique strengths, values, and mission. You must conduct a ruthless audit of your beliefs and ask, is this my truth, or is it a truth I was handed? Reject the ready-made life that society offers you. It is a trap designed to produce docile subjects, not powerful rulers. Your only duty is to the truth of your own sovereign will. 39. Become addicted to the grip of discipline. Reframe pain as power. The common man is addicted to pleasure. He seeks the path of least resistance, the comfortable chair, the easy distraction. This addiction makes him soft, predictable, and weak. The sovereign must cultivate a different addiction, an addiction to the feeling of their own discipline. The burn in your muscles during a workout is not pain, it is the sensation of your strength being forged. The mental strain of studying a complex subject is not frustration, it is the feeling of your mind expanding. The discomfort of a cold shower is not suffering, it is the shock of your willpower being awakened. You must learn to crave these sensations. They are the neurochemical signature of your own evolution. When you become addicted to the grip of discipline, the temptations of laziness and comfort lose their power over you. You are no longer avoiding pain, you are seeking a more potent high, the high of self-mastery. 40. The final rule, the map is not the territory. These rules are nothing without action. These 40 rules are a map. They are a detailed, carefully drawn chart of the path to self-mastery. But you must understand this final, humbling truth, the map is not the territory. You can study this map for 1,000 hours. You can admire its contours, debate its details, and give lectures on its features. But if you never take the first step off your couch and into the wild, unpredictable, and brutal reality of the territory, the map is worthless. It is a beautiful, useless artifact. The territory is your daily life. It is the alarm clock ringing. It is the conversation you are afraid to have. It is the workout you want to skip. It is the project you are procrastinating on. The map cannot walk the path for you. These Machiavellian principles are not an intellectual exercise. They are a call to arms. They are a demand for relentless, daily, often uncomfortable action. The quality of your life will not be determined by how well you understand this map, but by how courageously you venture into the territory and apply its lessons, one bloody, glorious step at a time. 41. Master paradoxical thinking. The common mind sees in binaries, strong or weak, kind or cruel, generous or selfish. The strategic mind understands that true power exists in holding apparent opposites simultaneously. You must be both feared and loved, knowing when to apply each. You must be rigid in your principles yet fluid in your methods. You must plan decades ahead while acting with present moment awareness. This isn't contradiction, it's complexity. The master understands that to appear traditional, you must innovate constantly. To maintain control, you must occasionally surrender it. To build strength, you must first acknowledge weakness. Embrace these paradoxes not as conflicts to be resolved, but as complementary forces to be harnessed. 42. Cultivate strategic patience. The amateur seeks immediate results. The professional understands that all meaningful change occurs in seasons, not days. Strategic patience isn't passive waiting, it's active preparation during periods of necessary gestation. When you plant a forest, you don't pace between the saplings demanding they grow faster. You ensure the conditions are right, proper soil, adequate water, sufficient sunlight, and then you let nature work. Apply this to your own growth. Some investments take years to mature. Some skills require thousands of hours to master. Some relationships need seasons to develop trust. The master works with time rather than against it, understanding that rushing natural processes leads to fragile results. 43. Practice radical self-accountability. Most people practice selective accountability, taking credit for successes while blaming circumstances for failures. You must go much further. Take ownership not just of your actions, but of your reactions. Of your thoughts. Of your emotional states. When something goes wrong, your first question shouldn't be, who caused this, but, how did I allow this to happen? This isn't about self-blame, it's about reclaiming power. If you're in a situation you don't like, acknowledge that at some level, you chose to be there. If someone treats you poorly, recognize that you taught them how to treat you. This radical ownership transforms you from a victim of circumstances to the architect of your reality. 44. Develop situational morality. This will be controversial, but necessary to understand. Fixed moral codes are for children and subjects. Rulers understand that morality must serve context. What's right in one situation may be disastrous in another. Mercy to a defeated enemy can be wisdom or weakness depending on the circumstances. Honesty can be virtue or foolishness based on the stakes. This doesn't mean having no principles, it means having principles that serve your higher purpose rather than blindly following rules that might undermine it. The master has a moral compass, not a moral map. They navigate by true north rather than following predetermined paths that may lead off cliffs. 45. Master the art of timing. Great strategy with poor timing becomes failure. Mediocre strategy with perfect timing often succeeds. Timing isn't everything, it's the only thing that makes everything else matter. You must develop a visceral sense of kairos, the opportune moment. When to speak and when to remain silent. When to advance and when to retreat. When to invest and when to conserve resources. This timing sense comes from deep observation of patterns, in markets, in people, in nature. Watch for convergence points where multiple trends align. Notice when resistance is lowest. Observe when people are most receptive. The master doesn't just do the right things, they do them at the right moment. So, the blueprint is laid before you. The 40 pillars of your own sovereignty have been erected, not in theory, but in the unforgiving landscape of your own awareness. You now possess the foundational laws. You understand that your mind is a court to be mastered, your body an army to be drilled, your time a treasury to be guarded with your life. This knowledge is the ultimate weapon, and the ultimate burden. But let us be perfectly, brutally clear, this is where the easy part ends. Watching this video was the passive act. What comes next is the active, relentless, and often lonely campaign of your life. I have not given you a comforting fairy tale, I have handed you a mirror and a sword. The mirror shows you the sovereign you are capable of becoming, ruthless, strategic, and free. The sword is the daily discipline required to carve that figure out of the raw, unformed marble of your current self. Every single day, from this moment forward, you will be tested. The alarm clock will be your first courtier, testing your resolve. The comfort of your bed will whisper treasonous lies of, just 5 more minutes. The temptation to scroll, to procrastinate, to choose the path of least resistance will present itself not as an enemy, but as a seductive ally. This is the real war. It is a silent, civil war fought in the inches of your mind and the seconds of your day. And in that war, there are no spectators, only the victorious and the defeated. You now know the cost. You know that power is paid for in the currency of discomfort, in the sacrifice of short-term pleasure for long-term dominion. The map is in your hands, but I must remind you one final time, the map is not the territory. You can watch this video 100 times, you can quote every rule, but if you do not act, it is all meaningless. This knowledge will become nothing but the most exquisite form of self-torture, a constant reminder of the potential you failed to materialize. Do not let that be your story. Your kingdom is waiting. It is not some distant, future promise. It exists right now, in the choices you will make in the next hour, the next day, the next week. It is built rep by rep, page by page, saved dollar by saved dollar, difficult conversation by difficult conversation. The throne is empty. It has always been empty, waiting for a ruler worthy of the title. The question that now hangs in the air, the only question that matters, is this: will you, having seen the path and understood the price, finally sit upon it? This is your call to arms. This is your moment of reckoning. The council is adjourned. The strategy is set. The rest is your legacy. Go build it.